We are the learners and makers, Jody, Anthony, Connor, and Aster. After returning from a 1-month, 5-state road trip with our pop-up camper, we were ready to travel again. As the end of summer beckoned, Crater Lake was calling, so we hitched up the camper one last time and answered. While in Oregon's only national park, we romped through the woods, gazed at a nearly full moon over the lake, and found the volcano's fangs. We have wanted to spend some time at Crater Lake for a while. We've been, but it was super smoky when we went, and so we decided to wait to the very end of the camping season and go when hopefully there was going to be no smoke. Mm-hmm. And we almost weren't able to go.
Oh my gosh, it was such a dicey few days leading up to this trip. We were targeting late September, but this lady came down with something. We don't know what. She tested negative for COVID. My guess is it was probably like some kind of flu, but Jody was just like kind of laid out for a couple days. And it was really, almost the last like 24, 48 hours before we were planning to leave that she was feeling enough herself again. They were like, okay, we can actually
Let's make this happen. Yeah. Let's do it. So, yeah, I definitely wasn't 100% going into this trip, so that also kind of affected what we could and couldn't do. Mm-hmm. But the lesson is to go for it, because even when we haven't felt 100%, we've just listened to that, been careful about like not overextending, but still had an amazing time.
Yep. Ooh, what's this, kids? Ooh.
This is Crater Lake.
That's Crater Lake.
That's Wizard Island.
That's right, that's Wizard Island. Wait.
Going into camping a lot this summer and spending pretty much a whole month in our camper, a lot of people were a little skeptical how much we would love it still, and if we would love it still. or if we would want something bigger or easier to set up, or
maybe not camp at all.
not camp. And I have to say, we still love our camper. Yeah. It is so simple, and it's just the right amount of space for us, and it's so easy for us to tow it that it still works really well. We've talked a little bit about why we chose our camper and how the pop-up camper works for us. And so you can check that out in the video above. But if you have any questions about pop-up camping, we know that's often something that people are interested in. So please put your questions in the comments below so that we can answer whatever camper questions you might have.
That's right. Leading up to Crater Lake, we were just hitting the full moon, and Jody had this brilliant idea. Our first full day, we wrapped up not with just chilling out at camp and going to bed, but getting the kids in their jammies, grabbing some snacks and all the camera stuff, and actually driving back out to the lake to look at the moon over the water. And I gotta say, this was such a cool idea, but you never know what your children are going to do with things. And like, Connor and Aster are night owls. No idea where they got it. And Aster, she was a little more on the, I'm gonna hang out in my seat and just look out the window, y'all do your thing. But Connor, he's on the cusp of turning 10. And I feel like we had this moment looking out at the moon over the water where you could start to get more of those glimmers of all the maturing happening in that boy's mind. He was enraptured. I mean, that kid's big blue eyes were just as big as the lake and about as bright. That is one of those things that you could tell went right to the heart of that kid and is going to stick with him for the rest of his life. He gave me this huge hug, and all I could do was just look at him and just be like, I am so glad I'm here with you. But it was a really beautiful sight. If you ever go to Crater Lake, full moon, we were just off the full moon, but whatever. Any phase of the moon over that water is worth it.
So obviously the big star of the show is the lake, the Crater Lake. But there are some really great things to do that are not the lake also. And one of the things that we did, and it was a shorter hike, I wasn't feeling 100%, so we just chose hikes that were like shorter and easier, was the Pinnacles. And this hike has these formations.
Monster teeth.
They look like fangs, or they're pointed, and they're from how the ash cooled.
Yeah, the thing to remember about Crater Lake is the lake is the star attraction, obviously. But there's so much else around it that was affected by this mountain, which at the time of Mount Mazama's eruption, this thing would have been one of the highest peaks in the Cascades. So when it blew over a mile off its height. So all that stuff went somewhere.
Yeah.
And all these crazy gases and various volcanic forces affected all that landscape in so many weird ways. And the Pinnacles are crazy.
They're fun. They're really fun.
interesting. It's a pretty vertical climb. But you may have some decent hand and footholds, I think.
Now we've got a good view.
Whoa!
People! There's a rightmost.
Yeah, the rightmost closest to
The one
us.
slightly right to top.
Uh-huh. Yeah, down from that. Where the slightly light top, come down 1, 2. Uh-huh. It looks like if you tapped your finger on the top, it'd poke you.
Easy.
They fold over.
Yeah, it's like this.
It's not a proper pointy hat then.
It still has a point, but the point is in a different place from the top because it's curled. Funny.
Thank you so much for enjoying the beauty and wonder of Crater Lake with us. This was such a great trip, and since it's the only national park in our backyard, oh my gosh, we can't wait to go back. You can follow our everyday adventures on Instagram at Learners and Makers. Check out our website, learnersandmakers.com, for more travel guides, tips on traveling with kids, and all the other things we get up to. On YouTube, subscribe to our channel and ding that bell so you get notified when we drop our next video. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.